Welcome to the Leader Mentality Show with Rob Clemens. We are at Sharky's in Myrtle Beach. This is a brand new location for us, but we are in the heart of Myrtle Beach, which is really exciting to me today, especially with the subject matter of what we're talking about. Because, spoiler alert, I have a couple of really cool guys that work with the City of Myrtle Beach, and they're humble too, and that's the best part of it. So we're going to talk all about Myrtle Beach, though. This is one of the popular destinations in the country. Some would say the most popular. I have a feeling we're going to hear about that later. And it's just a great place to be. The weather's great. And without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce you to these guys. We have Howard Waldie. He is the innovation director for the City of Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
All right. And then we got Devin Parks, and he is the economic development director for Myrtle Beach.
That's correct.
Man, good to have you guys on the show.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
It's a great day.
What all have you guys been up to, man? I feel like there's so much going on out here. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is almost a very difficult question to answer in the open sense, because we have been up to so many different things, right? So if you look at Myrtle Beach as a whole, you have very established bookends on either side, right? We've got our Market Commons area, we've got our Grand Dunes area, but the downtown is there's, of course, we have our culture and our history, but there is lacking a bit of identity, right? So Howard and my task is to really recreate the culture that really defines Myrtle Beach as a downtown area, and respect the heritage that the city has accumulated over the past several decades, and really recreate that sense of place in the downtown.
When you look at Myrtle Beach and you talk about the culture of Myrtle Beach, what would you describe that as?
I'll go ahead and jump on this one as well.
Man. I
look at it as a very eclectic organization of individuals that each have their own opinions and thoughts, and are very lot of type A personalities and a lot of great ideas. I would argue that the downtown Myrtle Beach area is really your largest melting pot within Horry County, right? So we have predominantly 10%, 10 to 12% of our demographic is Hispanic. We have 20% are African American, which is higher than most areas, and it introduces this culture that is really unique to this specific area. And really our job is to, I don't want to say capitalize, but for lack of a better word, really bring that together and show our visitors that that's another kicker, is our built-in visitation that we have, and show them what we're all about and who we are as a city, and really as a downtown area, that beach vibe.
I find it interesting that the economic development guy said he doesn't want to capitalize.
I was trying to think of a softer word.
Right. How do we describe what I do without saying capitalize? But no, that's very good kind of rundown, because I think that Myrtle Beach has developed over such a long period of time, but I feel like really the last 20 years have been the boom, and I feel like the next 20 years are even a bigger boom. I mean, where do you see the technology side of it going? Since you're on the innovation, where do you come in, Howard, and what's kind of your focus?
Yeah, so I mean, it's exactly like Devin said, right? We're trying to look at how can we bring Myrtle Beach's history and everything that has made Myrtle Beach what it is, and advance that into the future, right? And that's what I love about technology, is because technology can do exactly that. It can preserve the existing culture, the existing industries, like our tourism industry. We get 17 to 19 million visitors a year.
Wow.
That's huge, right? That's massive.
Man.
So when I think about how can we preserve that, how can we sustain that, but still bring this new economic diversification, I turn to the technology sector and I say, guess what? Hospitality industry, hotels, they need technology.
Yeah.
We as the government sector, we need technology. Anybody else, whether you're a restaurant owner, you're a grocer, or you're doing housing, technology makes a huge difference. So what we've decided to do is we're going to make Myrtle Beach the test bed for South Carolina. That's what we've landed on.
And some of that test bed, I want to go ahead and like leave the mic hot with you for a while, because I know that Devin and I, we've been friends for a while. So we were kind of having a lunch the other day, and he told me about some of the things, but I don't think everybody's heard all this stuff. I mean, some of us have heard about the Google, undersea cable and all that stuff, but tell us some of the cool things you see coming down the pipelines.
Yeah, so I mean, it really starts with that Catalyst project with DC blocks and the subsea cables. You've got 2 coming in that are Google. You got another one that is a subsidiary of Meta, right? And all of that is also possible because of the awesome fiber connectivity that we have through HTC, right? So you got DC blocks and HTC who have really launched this catalytic event, if you will, to turn this area into a major tech sector. So now what we've done is using that to kind of continue the momentum or give us the energy. We're like, okay, we're going to create a living lab program in Myrtle Beach that invites existing companies, whether they're large or small, or brand new startups who are working on some kind of new technology, whether it's hardware or software or anything else. And they're going to come into our program, develop it, prototype it. We, as subject matter experts in public administration, are going to tell them this is how that product is going to work really well for us. Or we're going to invite the business community that's already here and say, all right, Myrtle Beach hotels, what kind of technology are you looking for to take your hotel to that next level? We're already a premier destination. How about we be the premier destination that has the best technology you can find anywhere in the world?
Man, that's so cool to hear that too, because as a guy who's lived in Myrtle Beach since graduated from Coastal Carolina, Sean's up, a couple of good coastal guys here. But we talked about just years ago, and Devin and I were having this conversation about how this town has come up so much in the recent years. And it used to be a time where you would lose a lot of your young talent. They would end up just going to Atlanta or Chicago or wherever they were from, because there just wasn't that much going on. And I feel like this technology is a big key to it, right?
Rob, you hit the nail on the head. One of the things I am sick and tired of hearing from the people who have lived here, the families who have created this community to be what it is. Which, by the way, I think Tuesday we're celebrating the 86th birthday for the City of Myrtle Beach.
Wow.
86 years,
Man.
Right? So you've got families and generations of families all over the city who have established Myrtle Beach what it is.
Wow.
But then I hear about the kids and grandkids who are attending great institutions like CCU or Ori Georgetown Tech, and then they leave to go to Atlanta or leave to go to Charlotte or Raleigh, right? No, I'm tired of that. I want them to stay here. You know how we get them to stay here? By telling these companies and helping these startups get started right here and say, you can test your stuff. And once you're done testing, guess what the next thing we're going to do? We're going to help you launch on the market.
Nice. I love it, man. That's very cool stuff, man. Well, Devin, where does it play in from you? You started off talking about, this is an economic development principle here. We've got this great opportunity. You just mentioned that we have 17 to 19 million visitors a year in Myrtle Beach. What's the biggest challenge we have in getting to that next level, Devin, and from your perspective in the economic development realm?
Well, I think from an infrastructure standpoint, we are the fastest growing metropolitan statistical area in the entire United States, right? So as much of a blessing as that is, we are growing faster than our infrastructure has been able to keep up, right? And we are a hospitality-driven location, right? So from an economic diversity standpoint, that leaves us susceptible in certain ways, right? COVID was a very good teacher that there is risk, external risk factors that play into being a predominantly hospitality-driven area. So the way I look at it is when fate is smacking you in the face, pay attention. See what's coming down the pipeline, pun intended with the subsea cables. But, we have these subsea cables that are our interstate. They are connecting us to South America, Portugal. So that's very powerful, right? And Howard will probably go into more detail about the data speeds that this provides. But from my standpoint, it's very it's an attractive feature, all of which lands at the DC Blocks landing station, surrounded by the ITAP, International Technology and Aerospace Park.
Man, it's a tough one.
There's so many acronyms out there.
acronyms.
Oh yeah, of course.
But the kicker is there's 200 to 400 developable acres, so
In Myrtle Beach.
at the ITAP facility, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I mean, the opportunity to take advantage of this catalyst of a movement, right, with these subsea cables with DC Blocks landing station. Howard's done a lot of research on, what kind of companies follow companies like DC Blocks. And to us, our opportunity for economic diversification, our opportunity to reduce the brain drain in our area, this is it, right? So there are so many, we're on the precipice of so many different turning points. We have this record-breaking population growth, right? Inundated with new residents moving in. So how do we take advantage of the opportunities we have right now? And in our minds, based on the research that we've done, technology, the tech sector brings in higher paying jobs, a different demographic that really can live anywhere, right? So these are remote workers. They can live anywhere they choose to be. Our goal for the downtown area is to build that cool place that they want to live.
It's a very, very cool place, man. What we talked about before, you spent some time in the Conway realm doing the same thing you're doing here. What was your title when you were at the City of Conway?
Director of Economic
Director,
Development.
okay, right. He got recruited, guys, I feel like.
No comment.
All right, fair enough. But what's the biggest difference between the quaint little town of Conway and Myrtle Beach?
Commas.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest with you, everything is bigger in Myrtle Beach. Our pitch in Conway, when I was in Conway, was really like, this is your last taste of home prior to your arrival at the beach. That was our selling point, And I look at it as mutually beneficial. Where Conway is positioned, they are the county chair.
Yeah.
So, they have that built-in mechanism in their sense. And then, like Howard mentioned, we have 17 to 19 million visitors that come to this beach. And they come to this beach for the convenience. They come to this beach for the affordability. And I think both of them play hand in hand. Our target market is very similar. It's just Conway's goal is to capture a small portion of that market.
Yeah.
So I look at them as a sister city still. What's good for us is good for them and vice versa.
Totally agree with that, and that makes a lot of sense. Well, let me ask you one question, and we're going to just kind of like hit up another innovation type of thing. If you were to look at one city in this country and you said, man, I'd love to be doing what they're doing, which one would it be?
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh, man, my God. Wow, that was a good answer from the City of Myrtle Beach guy. Okay.
I mean, hands down. So I come from large cities, right?
Yeah.
I'm from the Los Angeles area, the Phoenix area. Before I joined the Myrtle Beach team, I was up in Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads, right? So really large urban areas. And the reason why I was like, I'll take the phone call from Myrtle Beach is because of what Myrtle Beach is doing.
Oh, okay.
Right. I've worked in local government for going on 12 years now, or in the public sector, and I cannot think of a single city or a single region that can come together to work on something like what we're doing here and have all the puzzle pieces to do it. Everybody's got something that's stopping them or stopping the progress. Myrtle Beach isn't stopping. We keep adding to it, we keep evolving, and we keep making it happen. That's why I say to your question, it's Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Man, very cool stuff. Well, let's talk about Myrtle Beach then for one more minute here. Well, we're going to talk about a lot more minutes, but specifically, when I hear you talk about that this is the number one place and you came down here, what does the phone call look like when they're recruiting you? I mean, how do they even know about you? Was it Myrtle Beach approached you? Did you approach Myrtle Beach?
I actually don't know how all of it came together. It was a separate recruiter that they were using at the time. She reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I was like, this is a joke. There's no way somebody is, but it checked out, and I followed up. I talked to my mentors at the time, and they said, oh no, you need to keep an eye on Myrtle Beach. There's a lot going on there, and if somebody's reaching out to you, follow up on that call. and I'm so glad I did.
That's a good point. I love that. As a guy who came to Myrtle Beach and you said, you had this perception, I have a question for both of you guys, and I'd love you both to comment on it. What nationwide is the perception of a Myrtle Beach from other states?
Yeah. If you want, I'll jump in just to share because coming in from the outside, right? Never even really visited South Carolina or hung out in South Carolina because I'm originally from the West Coast. But when I started talking to people about Myrtle Beach and saying I'm interested in maybe going down there, I've gotten a phone call or two. Everybody was ecstatic. They were like, Myrtle Beach is the coolest place. Our family would be there every vacation, right? So it becomes this, from everybody I talked to before I came down here, it was always like it reminded them of home. It was something that was special to their heart and a place that they always wanted to get back to.
Wow, that's kind of cool. What about you, Devin?
Yeah, very similar scenario. So we moved down as a family when I was 11 years old from the Maryland area. From the state of Maryland.
That's okay.
Which is in the Maryland area.
Yeah, that's true.
It is the Maryland area.
It really is.
Can we please edit this part?
Brought to you live from the South Carolina area.
So we moved down as a family when I was 11 years old as a result of growing up and taking our vacations in the Myrtle Beach area. We were not, we weren't a wealthy family, so when we did take vacations, we had to be very methodical on where we went. And I think we started in Surfside Beach and over a couple of years graduated to the Myrtle Beach area. But once we got down here, from my family's standpoint, as far as affordability, the fun that their kids were having, there was no better option. When you're young, your brain kind of gravitates towards certain memories, right?
Right.
And I still to this day have these memories of like the umbrellas lying down the beach in the morning, and then watching the beach fill up, and just the feeling of the sun, and just the whole lifestyle behind having the Atlantic Ocean, right at your fingertips. It's just, I don't know, it's good for the soul, and
100%.
And our family wanted that. So in my opinion, like the outside perception of Myrtle Beach is like this is something to aspire to, a location like where your entire family can enjoy a quality of life that is difficult to replicate.
I'd say so, and I think that one of the things that makes this interview tough for us, and you viewers can't see this, but we are actually looking out at the Atlantic Ocean as we talk, and it is kind of distracting. It makes we were talking about off the air, we were talking about going for I think we were going to go for a starfish hunt later.
That was the suggestion.
It was a suggestion. We didn't ratify it, but it sounded good.
We still can.
Is this starfish season, by the way? I don't know. Are there seasons for starfish?
Can't be sure. I will say our plan would probably deviate once we get outside of these nice plastic liners, because it is a windy day.
It's a rather windy day in Myrtle Beach, right?
But I go starfish hunting with you any day.
Okay, well, good. Well, let me ask you this. As far as those trips to the beach, now, especially for you, Devin, because you guys used to visit here, are you a surfer? I mean, like, what kind of a beach guy are you?
I was so at the time when we first moved down here, what I would do, we lived in the back end of Prestwick. I would rollerblade over to Wallabears, like go shopping, check out some cool stuff, come down to Springmaid with my little backpack.
And he's got his long hair at this point.
I had hair at this point. Long flowing hair at this point.
Okay, flowing hair.
Coolest.
Yeah.
And I would just walk the beach. Like, we would come downtown to the pavilion, hang out. Dad and Mom would drop me off early in the morning. I'd spend all day there. We'd go to the attic, thinking we were cool and stuff. So those were the memories that really established, like, on a fundamental level of who I am today. It is. I can get a little antsy in certain situations, but I contribute any laid back behavior that I do have to this area. It's just everything slows down. It's receptive. It's just a calming kind of lifestyle. So casual, you're not looking at the clock, and it just. The friends that I've built, are friends to this day. So as much as cool as the beach is, it's also the people that live here as well. That's really that's the icing on the cake.
It's a good group, and it's a diverse group. I was just thinking about something did you ever get to go to the pavilion from Myrtle Beach before? Because it's been shut down for how many years now? Probably it's been
I think a better part of 2 decades.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's been a while. So when you were up in the Maryland area and you would come down,
There's no editing
That
now.
was just wrong. We're beyond that. They take
That's
that
in
out.
there forever.
This is a part of the show now, my friend. No, but when you were coming down, what was your favorite ride at the pavilion? Because for the people who have been there,
Oh,
you
yeah.
kind of remember they had the corkscrew and they had some of these things. What was your?
What was the
thing?
wooden one?
The wooden? Are you talking like from the wooden perspective?
It was like the main one. That's the one that
Oh, the
I
wooden roller
remember.
coaster.
Yeah.
I got you.
I don't remember the name of it, but that's the one I remember. Like, I would go into the pavilion, but the pavilion cost money, so it was only sporadic that I could go in there. But I would. That was my stomping ground. That was my area. But that wooden roller coaster, that's the one I do remember.
That's some humble beginnings, but the pavilion was a place. I remember, and we're just doing full-on Myrtle Beach memories now, they had the haunted house in there. You remember the skeleton with the hands?
I do now.
And he would do this? Yeah, that was
I
a good
forgot
time.
about that.
I mean, I don't know how scary it was, but it was cool.
At the time, it was a little bit scary. I do remember that, but that's the whole vibe we're trying to recreate, right? There was so many things to do in such a distinct vicinity that you couldn't get bored. It was an environment where your parents could drop you off. Now, it was a different day and age, but there was. It's tough to entertain an 11-year-old, right?
Right.
So I was never bored in this area. I was always having fun. It was always a good experience, and really that is the root of what we're trying to recreate down here.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So from the innovation standpoint, Howard, I want to go to the kids. You have kids coming into town now. Devin just talked about, if you go back 20 years ago, we're talking about the pavilion and the attic and all these things. And there's still that kind of stuff here, but where do you take innovation to make it a more and more kid-friendly place?
Yeah, I mean, so from a simple perspective, I say simple, it's taking that technology and really the initial objective started with making us a smart city, right? So what that means, and I mean, that's a buzzword. Everybody has their opinions about what that means. What smart cities actually are is they're cities that are using technology to make your experience, whatever that experience is, the best it can be, with the help of technology, right? So things like, let's talk about traffic. Everybody hates traffic congestion, right? And coming from the large urban areas, I frankly love our traffic here in the Myrtle Beach.
Oh, it's not bad at all, right?
It's not bad at all. It's fantastic, actually, compared to what I'm used to in other places. But let's take that as an example. I'm going to look at a artificial intelligence that we can have built into our light systems, our street lights, right? That will automatically change depending on what the traffic flow is, right?
Wow.
We've got Coastal Carolina. Nope, I said that wrong. The Carolina Country Music Festival. There's my thing. Right?
Oh boy!
I got CCU on the brain because I'm surrounded by CCU graduates here. But you got the Carolina Country Music Festival, right? And got tons of people coming to that event.
Yeah.
Well, I want to make sure that the people attending the event can cross streets safely and walk around where they need to walk around. And I can do that with technology without having to have somebody manually flipping switches or going in there and reprogramming because the system automatically changes it. So when I think about how can we use technology to create those cool, fun environments for kids, but also that safe component, that's exactly what this technology can do. We can do augmented reality-based tourism where you learn what happened in downtown Myrtle Beach where you were standing 30 years ago.
Wow.
Right? And it just tells you that story, or it shows you that story digitally in front of your own eyes with something like a digital twin. I mean, those are all the kinds of things we can do.
No, that's awesome. How far are we off from a hologram that pops up and it's like, welcome to...
We are not far off from it at all.
Man. Wow, that's really cool stuff. Let me ask you this then. You just mentioned a couple of AI technologies. Of course, you're talking about buzzwords. Artificial intelligence is always going to be a thing. How far off are we from something like smart stoplights and things like that?
I mean, they're already deployed in other places across the country, across the world. In fact, frankly, one of the things that's good for the United States is we're actually behind on the smart city side, which is good. And the reason why I say that's good is because a lot of the failure, a lot of the hardships that comes with doing innovation has already happened in other areas of the world. And so now we get to skip those hardships and just benefit from the beauty of that technology while also creating that more innovative test bed for even better technology to be developed.
That's a killer moment. I love that. And I want to talk about Coastal Carolina. I feel like that is what Coastal Carolina University is. It's been around for a while, but you know how far they've come since an old codger like me went there. And and a young whippersnapper like Devin Parks, but no, it's crazy because like since I'm going to say the football team era, when I was graduating, the football team had not quite come to Coastal yet, but you look at how much that campus has developed, and it was to their benefit that they had not gotten so developed before that. They came in right at the time where Wi-Fi technology is coming through bigger and bigger and things like that. So I think it is a powerful thing that Myrtle Beach is on the forefront. Yeah, cool stuff. Just so we can clear it up for the people who are wondering, though, just give me like 5 smart city type of things, because I feel like that sometimes when I hear smart city, like you said, it's a buzzword, but not everybody knows what it is. Just tell me like 5 things you might see in a smart city.
Yeah, absolutely. So I talked about the traffic lights already, right? We'll talk about another one being acoustic threat detection, which actually we're in the middle of deploying ourselves.
Okay.
Acoustic threat detection, what that is, it hears a gunshot and it sends a notification to dispatch and says there's gunshots happening at XYZ location, right?
Wow.
And immediately they get dispatched and can respond to it. Fun fact about that is in a lot of the technology that's been tested related to that, only 25% in one study, only 25% of the gunshots detected had a corresponding 911 call.
Really?
So,
Wow.
able to detect more of those things. You could talk about smart poles. Smart poles are huge. I think it's the foundation of any smart city. So with a smart pole, you've got a light fixture that has adaptive lighting controls. So, it's the sunset and we want to make that atmosphere carry on through the entirety of Myrtle Beach, not just directly on the beach itself. We're going to change those lights to mimic the sunlight, right? I mean, the sunset. And we can make it brighter or dimmer.
This sounds like the Truman Show a little bit. Did you guys watch the Truman Show? I did watch it.
Another example, you kind of brought it up, right? Those holograms that are showing you things. That's kind of coming through as a digital twin is what that's called, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Where we can do those simulations and figure out, okay, if we put this building here, we put this business here, what kind of traffic is that going to generate in terms of consumer traffic? Another 2 examples, I talked about augmented based reality tourism.
What about, I've heard this when it comes to smart cities, there's a certain sustainability factor. You'll hear about solar panels and regenerated. Where does that stand when it comes to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Columbus, Ohio, they recently, it's probably about 2 years ago now, they announced a project where they deployed microgrids, which is, solar panels, but on a small scale.
Sure.
And that is supporting their water system that provides clean drinking water to a couple of neighborhoods. So what that system does, because the smart component of it is, it's collecting this power, generating that electricity and storing it. When the main system starts shutting down because of whatever reason, a major storm or something happens to it, the smart system with the microgrid technology automatically kicks in, says, take a break, I got you, and it can provide clean drinking water for up to 2 weeks.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Well, I appreciate you explaining that, because I just feel like a lot of people, they wouldn't know that. So those are some great things, man. And he was just getting started. Devin, what the heck do you have? No, I'm just kidding.
Compared to that, it's a tough one, but I'll take a go.
All right, let's take a go, man.
And I mean, when I don't look at them as mutually exclusive in
Sure.
any way, shape, or form, right? Like what Howard is pursuing makes my job easier.
Yeah.
So, from an economic development standpoint, the quality of life component is what attracts companies to the area. And everything that we're talking about with smart cities technologies is using technology to improve the quality of life for our residents, right? To make things easier. Whether it be from a municipal standpoint, whether it be public facing and helping out our residents, technology is not going anywhere, right? It has infiltrated our entire existence over the past couple of decades.
Yeah.
So we know that is the future. We want a sustainable future. I want to redevelop the downtown area and the surrounding area as well. Everything that Howard is doing makes my job easier, right? Like it plays into it. So
Awesome. Well, man, you guys, you're so great to spend this time with me, and I know how passionate you are about your area. And we could be anywhere in the country, but you guys want it to be in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and you're passionate about it, and I dig that. So we got about 10 minutes left, and I want to talk about some things that you're excited about that are coming down the pipeline. But before we get into that, I want to give you guys a couple of things just from the leader mentality to you. Got you guys some gifts, and these are just some things. Man, I tell you, I don't give them to everybody on the show, but you guys, we're patriotic here. So, you see the little American flag. But, no, I appreciate you guys coming on. Hopefully, spoiler alert, it's got some Coastal Carolina memorabilia and some Carolina Bays real estate memorabilia on it. So,
anyway. Is all good. I need more of that, so that's perfect.
He needs more Carolina Bays. And I like the way this guy thinks, man. Devin, again, this guy has stepped up to the plate.
One up in me and every chance.
No. I learned from the best.
Oh, of course, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Thank you.
hey, one thing is when Carolina Bays partnered up with CCU this year, one thing is we took full advantage of it. So you got the little Chauncey on there, and we're always having some fun with it. But anyway,
I love it.
All right, well, enough of that stuff, guys. Back to the show here. We talk about what's going on in Myrtle Beach. Things you're excited about. You guys are, definitely have given me a lot of great stuff today. I think you're great ambassadors. Tell me about what's on the horizon or what's happening right now that you're just excited about. I'm going to give you the mics and you can open it up. We'll start with you, Howard.
All right. This is my favorite story to share because it's the vision that we're turning into a reality.
Okay.
And so I like talking about opportunities. So I'm a product of the foster care system out in the Southwest, right? And one of the things that I like to live by, it comes from my undergrad's alma mater, Arizona State. In the charter, it talks about how you need to measure your success not by who you exclude, but rather by who you include and how they succeed, right? And so that's something that's been really, really important to me because when I think about my time going through foster care and kind of being that independent kid at a really, really young age, the only reason I'm able to be in the seat I'm in today and enjoy the beauty that is Myrtle Beach is because of opportunity that was given to me by the community, right? It wasn't the court systems, it wasn't anything like that. It was the community I was surrounded by because they stepped up to the plate and they gave me opportunities that statistically I should never have had, right? And so when I think about Myrtle Beach and I think about this living lab program that we keep talking about, the real vision that comes with it is this facility. And in this facility, we've got, different things. The entirety of the first floor is dedicated to the public. So anybody in Myrtle Beach, anybody in South Carolina can come in and use this facility, learn how to program, learn the computer sciences, start using a 3D printer to prototype some cool thing that they've got, right? Anything like that. And be connected with other entrepreneurs and startups. And then we've got this other thing that's going to be the auditorium, and it's not a performing arts auditorium. It's I'm going to present our new product. I'm going to unveil the new product behind me.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, nice, like a Shark Tank kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
right?
cool.
So this vision that I have, this story that we have for the Living Lab is it's all located in an LMI neighborhood or an LMI area of the city, right? So you got the low to moderate income neighborhoods, and when I think about providing opportunity, I think about a kid who might be in second grade right now living in that area of the city. And one day, the city and say Sundar from Google, right, or Alphabet, is walking down this kid's street because we're doing a neighborhood walk. And the kid finds out, Google is here. There's this major tech behemoth walking the streets with me. And they're not here to talk about technology. They're just here sponsoring this community walk that we're doing.
Yeah.
And then the kid hears about this living lab facility, which is literally right around the corner, right down the block. Kid could walk there if they wanted to. Kid becomes inspired, starts using that living lab facility, starts learning about computers and technology. And then they go to Horry Georgetown Tech. And they get some certifications, get an associate's degree completed, and then they go on to Coastal Carolina University, right? And while they're at CCU, they're in some engineering program, or they decide to go into the computer sciences, and they've got their degree. Their senior year, they are using one of the student labs that's available to them at this Living Lab facility. And they're developing a product because Google announced a hackathon or a challenge for the next product, right? They're building that product alongside some of their peers. And then they go on to that auditorium, which they've been in several times because we had TEDx Myrtle Beach, right?
Yeah.
And they got to attend that for free because this is an asset to them. And now that kid who was once upon a time in second grade from one of those neighborhoods is now on that stage unveiling the product that they made. And that product wins the challenge.
Man.
and that student now is opening the next Google or is contributing the next product for Google's G Suite or whatever it is, right? That's the dream that we're building. That is the vision we're making a reality right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Dude, that's a crazy, crazy cool interp. And the reason I got a little chill bumps when you said that, man. I'll tell you why, because so much of the Leader Mentality show was created because we wanted to give people an inspiration that they can be doing more with their lives, that they can have that source they could go to say, hey, look, I can do anything I put my mind to, literally, not just some kind of a slogan that you see on a bumper sticker, but no, literally, you can do whatever you put your mind to. But sometimes you need that hand up. Sometimes you need some resources that maybe you just can't get anywhere. And you described not just retaining talent in Horry County and Myrtle Beach, you talked about growing talent.
Exactly.
There's a big difference, man, and I really think that's powerful, man, and beautiful vision. I think that could be a whole show in itself, but well done. Devin, what's up, man? What are you excited about?
Tough act to follow.
I know he's like, man, I wish I could have started first.
No, but in a way, I do wish I could have started first, but at the same time, Howard just captured exactly what we're trying to create here, right? Opportunity at the end of the day. So for me, I personally, my experience is mostly with the Chamber of Commerce, right? So the Conway Chamber of Commerce. So I have a heart for the small business community, right? Mm-hmm. So Myrtle Beach is a very established area as a whole. And really, when you look at it, the people that need the most hand-holding are your small business, 1 to 5 employees. And it coincidentally happens to be the same people that really differentiate you from every other downtown. You are a product of the neighborhoods in which your city exists, right?
Yeah.
Like, you are the people. So to walk outside of my office and, when I first started less than a year and a half ago, feeling it being a little bit vacant, a little too spacious, a little too much sprawl, to walking out of my office today and having Terrence with ESA Fitness right next door, go down to the HTC Aspire Hub where we're working with local organizations and developing an entrepreneurial ecosystem here in the downtown. And just so happens I can go to the next building over and go to Lamana Bakery and grab a croissant while I'm taking all of this. Then I've got Lisa Lee and Jamie Daskalis opening up the tasting room, which is going to be joined with Dalai Lama. At the end of the day, this is what I live for. It's I can't stand being in my office. Mm-hmm. I like being around. I like experiencing the people and the culture and the environment. And I'm literally watching what I know is a snowball effect that is going. There's no stopping it. I'm at the precipice of that right now. Like, I'm at the beginning stages of watching us evolve to create this sense of place, right? So you and I are very much like, we're coastal brats. We love Coastal Carolina University, and to me it's such an honor to really be able to try to create, one of the appealing things about Coastal is it's a walkable campus, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it is internal. We want to create a walkable sense of place in the downtown area. This is not somewhere you drive through. This is a destination. This is where you are going. Mm-hmm. You can get out of your car and you can spend a day with your family and enjoy life. And I'm watching the beginning stages of that really start to come. And knowing what the future holds, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else right now. It's a dream come true.
Man, well done, man. And it's so cool that you talk about that. I'm glad you brought the small business angle in, because I feel like for so long, people thought, man, I'm going to come to Myrtle Beach and I'm going to start a business. Well, where do you start? It's a question, right?
It's a daunting process.
Yeah.
You call me. That's how you start.
Put his phone number under the
linking.
Right. When you think business, you want to call Devin Parks. That's the face I want you to come to. But no, I mean, to me, it's like such an opportunity here. But the most powerful thing that you said that I think is so cool about this area is that for years this was a retirement destination. This is a tourist destination, and it still is. Check and check. People can still come here and just enjoy the beach. You can still come down here and retire and live on the golf course and play out your days. But you have also created this environment for thriving technology, thriving young businesses, best talent coming to this area. You and I talked about this off the air one day, and the question was, or more the comment was, I want to see the day where it's not just that we're retaining the talent and growing the talent you talked about. We want to talk about attracting the talent. When do people start going, I want to move to Myrtle Beach because I heard it's a really cool place to be for my career? And you just talked about it, and you did it. Here's the guy who did it, but that's where we're going, man. So I'm so proud of this place. I'm proud of what you guys represent, and I thank you guys both for being on the show.
Mention, I only got down 9th Avenue, but that very same block, you go over to 8th. In April, we will be going out to bid. We are in the final stages of solidifying a management agreement with Coastal Carolina University that the city will be opening a 300-seat state-of-the-art performing arts theater that will be programmed by Coastal Carolina University. So again, you talk about that pipeline, that introduction of opportunities for our younger demographic. Again, we're at that early stage, so that is another piece of that puzzle that's really exciting, and is going to build that foundation moving forward.
That's really cool, man. When does that open? What's the air date?
So if it's going out for bid in April, we will have there will be a selection process, but I mean you're talking 1 to 2 years for until those doors are open and operational.
Boy, man, buy your tickets now, right? Hey, who's the coolest guy? Since we get some riff time. All right, so who was the most? If you could meet one person who went to Coastal Carolina, and don't throw me some Homer answer, but like one famous person went to Coastal Carolina, who you picking? I'm putting you both on the scene.
Oh man, that is tough.
I got mine.
Well, of course, you wouldn't have asked the question if you didn't already have yours.
I know, right? That's so cheating.
Think about mine. Howard, do you have one yet?
I was going to say it's the people I work with.
Oh, God, that's a Homer answer. I'm not accepting it, sir.
I'm not going to lie. I haven't done my research on CCU alum.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to need you to go back, do some research. We're going to have another show, and I want an answer.
I don't know why I wanted to meet Josh Norman. I want to meet Josh Norman.
Yeah, Josh Norman, man. He's legendary. He went to... And the greatest thing about Josh Norman is, I was talking to Kelly Moore at one point, and she said that Josh Norman, when he came to Coastal, he wasn't even the big name between the two brothers, right? So she said that like his brother came to Coastal and he was like the big recruit. Josh Norman kind of followed him over, and of course we all know what Josh did. He went on to the NFL and played for such legendary teams as Washington. I'm a Washington fan, so
As am I. How about that?
we didn't even spend the whole show talking about Washington football.
I mean, that'd be a pretty
We
short
don't even
conversation.
right. All of our excitement over the last few years, our love of our team name that I won't even say at this point. But anyway, all right. Here's another one. And sometimes these are almost rumor level. Michael Kelly went to Coastal Carolina. Michael Kelly of House of Cards fame. He's been on some other stuff, right? How about Diamond Dallas Page? Do you guys know
Dallas
the
Page?
Diamond Cutter? I've heard a rumor.
Went to Coastal?
I have not quite validated this, and I'm not sure if this should ever make it on the air, but I have heard Diamond Dallas came to Coastal Carolina with his, I don't even know if you know Diamond Dallas. He was a wrestler, and he did his whole thing. He'd be like, bah, and he'd do the Diamond Cutter on you, and you're done, man. When he did that on you, it was over.
There was some WWF Nintendo game. I was always Diamond Dallas because I just thought he looked neat.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
All right, guys. Well, I'm trying to think of who else. There's some other big names, man.
Oh, 100%.
I don't have big names, but there is one thing we forgot to mention that if you're okay with it, I want to mention it. Right.
Let's just keep riffing, man.
I'll make it quick.
Okay.
So you just see one part of the operation right here, right?
Just
You're just talking about one part of the operation.
That's true.
Everything that you heard us talk about today is only possible because it's enabled by our residents. It's enabled through the leadership of our city council and our mayor, and of course the management team that we work for.
Man, that's a great answer.
That's a really good point because without that unified correlation, all it is pretty pictures.
Where did the tide turn? I mean, when do we go from this point where we were just, whatever, we're cruising along, we're a little tourist town, to boom, we're growing?
It was a gradual, long process. It was a process of feeling ourselves out. What do we want to present ourselves as moving forward? And credit, like Howard said, credit to council because the stuff that drives me nuts that I don't love doing, the planning portion of it, is all they've been doing over the past decade. You know, it's a lot of thought and hard work has gone into the planning behind the Arts and Innovation District, our downtown area, and how to really create that catalyst for growth moving forward in a positive manner. So hats off to our staff, our council, that laid the foundation for us to be where we're at today.
Exactly.
That's an
That's
honest answer.
So we're with Howard and Devin, the two who made Myrtle Beach happen, solo-handed.
Far from it. Far from it.
We're recording, right?
From the truth.
No,
You know, and as a fellow fourth, I'm disappointed you didn't say the
Oh,
fourth.
he is Howard W. Waldie the fourth. wait, he give me the middle name and everything. Is that your thing, dude? Do you go around and be like,
It is.
I'm Howard W. I like that.
Sometimes I go by H-Dub.
H-dubs.
And Rob, let me tell you right now that you could do another podcast on that one.
I'm with H-dubs and
I like that.
and Devin P. And this is Rob B. I don't know. I don't know.
This is the best.
Yeah, his H-dubs. God dang.
Ours is uneventful.
Freaking guy. They just call me fourth. Yeah, we'll do our whole show with our nicknames and stuff. Yeah. Yo. This is Rob Clemens. I'm with H-dubs. Some call him Waldie 4.
Can you make him do that? I'd pay good money.
R2D2. Devin's R2D2 or?
W4.
Yeah. That is true. That's. I got W.
That's what I think of WD-40.
Yo, and he's so smooth, he greases up everything.
Ooh. Next level.
See, this is what happens when we're
Elevating
not
the game.
recording. Everything goes up. Good Lord, man.
Oh, see, now you've killed it.
Yeah.
You were saying, sir?
Back to hot
formal
talk. Myrtle Beach. The history of Myrtle Beach was, I love hermit crabs. What's you guys' favorite?
You could really do good with radio.
You could.
Okay, all right. Let's go down. We will roll through a couple of things just for some outtakes if need be. What is your favorite small animal? You're living in a condo. You can't have a dog or a cat. That's against the rules. You have to have one small animal. What are you doing? What a hit
You
nerd.
eliminated my option.
I'm sorry. You can't. Oh, dude. Would you rather have a cat or a dog? We don't want to hear that. We want to hear about
We
what's
have
the
very
small.
distinct opinions on
We do.
cats
And he's
or
wrong,
dogs.
but
Okay, well, all right. So I would love to hear this debate. Then, is it cats or dogs?
It's
cats.
dogs.
Cats all day.
Cats.
All day.
Is it
They
a
get
specific
such a
type of
bad
a cat?
Because people don't know how to live with them.
Well, yeah. Well, they're.
I don't feel the need to adjust my lifestyle because of a pet.
Yeah, the cats will they kind of look at you like, what are you doing?
Pretentious.
Here? Yeah, they're very. If a cat's had an accent, it would be like, hello, sir. What are you doing?
We used to leave a cat for weeks and know that you go on a trip and come back and still have.
There's no doubt
And
cats
that
are.
terrifies me.
You do know that dogs only love you because you give them food. That is literally it. Cats actually have developed emotions and it's a real thing.
What is cat's emotion? Disgust.
We can do a whole nother thing.
All right.
Disappointment.
You got disappointment.
Cats-
Contempt is a good
Contempt.
word.
I stick with pretentious.
Anger.
I think
Distant.
that says more about the human than it does the cat.
Well, maybe. So
Maybe.
we are.
What's the non-cat dog animal that you would go for?
Yeah, no, it's got to be a small. And again, fellas, I've got to set it up. You live in a small apartment. You cannot have a
that
dog or a
is
cat.
tough.
It has to be a small animal, and I will accept any answer.
Are sloths smelly?
I don't believe a sloth would be part of our small animal. It's got to.
They're small.
Your landlord can't. I don't think your landlord would be cool with a sloth, dude.
I don't care for amphibians or reptiles.
Right? It could be like picture like iguanas. I've heard iguanas are good pets, but I don't want to.
I can't relate.
Snakes. I'm not into
got nothing in
snakes.
common.
I choose hedgehog.
He's gonna go hedgehog. Okay.
The miniature hedgehog.
What's the not a hamster, but like the
A gerbil?
Yeah, like a little gerbil.
A
Why not?
gerbil. Okay. See, well, and they're active animals. It seems pretty good. Okay.
Why,
Well,
yeah, why not?
Maddie's looking like, what did you guys do? What
What
are
we
you?
call D-footage.
This is deep.
This is why I need to make sure I don't.
Poker face.
I would love to just do a whole show of just me just asking bizarre questions that you have to really think about.
I'd listen to that. I'd watch that.
I would totally
Yeah.
listen to that. I mean,
Yeah.
just because like sometimes people aren't asking the basic things to really get to know each other. You just told me you're a cats guy and you're a dog guy. Like, it fascinates me, man. Like, why?
Now you know us on a fundamental level. Thank you very much. Honored to be here.
Man,
Same.
well, very cool stuff. Well, you guys keep doing what you're doing. And for you guys who are listening out there, I mean, you could hear in the background, there's activity here. We're not even in season yet. There's sawing going on. There's people in the background. We're having a lot of fun with it. But honestly, Myrtle Beach is in good hands with you fellas. Thanks again for everything. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody next time on the Leader Mentality Show with Rob Clemens.